Welcome to Uncaged. Today, we are fortunate to speak to Asli Erem. Asli is the Group Chief Financial Officer for the Marmara Group. The Marmara Group is a holding company. They are involved in quite a few business verticals. And so we'll talk a little bit about the international and global business landscape and some of the issues that we're seeing in that space today. Asli, as we get going here, why don't we start with just a pretty straightforward question, which is, tell us a little bit about you and your career.
My pleasure, Ben. Actually, I'm a professional with 20 plus years of experience, but at the same time, an academician. My focus is strategy, feature, and social impact. I give a lot of value to those topics. I hold a bachelor's degree from a university in Turkey. I have a master's of science from Johns Hopkins in US. I spent 6 years in the United States. And then I also have a PhD in organizational behavior from a university in Turkey, Başkent University. I started my career in USA, Washington, D.C. At a Fortune 100 company, Prudential Securities, as a financial analyst. And then I came back to Turkey after 6 years. Then I became the vice president of strategic planning of one of the largest banks in Turkey. During that time, I have been involved in a lot of M&A activity and also group consolidation activity. Especially, we managed a partnership with UniCredit Bank of Italy that opened my world into Italian world. That was a great project. And after 7 years working at Koç Bank, I am transferred to energy sector as a CFO. And currently, I'm working at the Marmara Group as a CFO and also global CFO and also executive board member. Our group is one of the largest real estate investment and hospitality firms that's operating both in Turkey and USA. I am also a visiting professor of project finance and organizational behavior. So if I want to wrap up, this summarizes me.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And Asli, I mean, you're clearly working on quite a wide gambit of things, and what an amazing background that you have. But I mean, let's dig further into the Marmara Group. I mean, what's the focus these days for you guys?
Actually, I'll be a little selfish here because that's my 5-star project currently I'm dealing with. Of course, as every other group, we are concentrated on the best use of our assets and, chasing new investments in terms of real estate and how to manage the risks worldwide, etc. I mean, but all companies are doing that. My 5-star project is the one that we are in cooperation doing with IFC. That's the World Bank's subsidiary dealing with private sector projects. Mm-hmm. So we are working on total decarbonization and green conversion of our real estate portfolio, which is great. And we are the first group selected worldwide in real estate sector. That is wonderful. So I'll do everything in my power for that project to succeed, because I know very well the companies who do not comply with ESG rules will have serious issues in near future. So I'm so glad we are on right track. That's our main focus.
Well, Asli, I mean, it's not a surprise for me to hear that you and the team are leading the way in that critical area. But I mean, tell me a little bit about the sustainability efforts that you're making and the importance of those activities in business today.
Well, I mean, the world is turning out to be like a puzzle, right? Everything is becoming so connected to each other. So, following the Paris Agreement and consensus, this has been a worldwide mutual agreement where every country will comply to these rules. Anyone who does not comply to these rules will not be able to do business. That's because our world is giving serious alarm to turn it into a place to live
Right.
for everyone. I mean, when we talk about environmental government, ESG compliance, we are not only talking about the green conversion and everything. We are talking about equal opportunity for everyone. We are talking about reducing poverty. We are talking about, let's say, creating a world that's more livable for people, where we can breathe and where we can create the continuity of businesses, continuity of humanity, everything. I mean, you just talked about the earthquake in Turkey. We'll have
Yeah.
these coming increasingly, that it's marking, it's kind of like telling us, hey, it's the time. And this Paris Agreement is the end of story.
Yeah.
Everybody will do it. Otherwise, you won't be in business. And I must tell you that no business will work from now on without cooperating with each other on these issues.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating moment, Asla, because if you think about the last several years with the pandemic, everyone on the planet felt very much like things were fragmenting. We all felt very isolated. It seemed as if it was very hard for people to cooperate and bring one another together. And yet, when we think of these challenges that you're talking about, these are international challenges. These are things where we need significant cooperation, integration, right?
Everybody's problem. It's not only you, me, the Marmara Group. Everybody, your kids, my kids, everyone has to put their, let's say, power, and they have to put their strength and intention into it to make it a better place to live for us. Otherwise, the poverty is coming. I mean, the hunger is coming. More and more natural disasters are coming. And the funny thing is, the world is talking about this since 1998, right? It's a long time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we still have an issue of people and corporations not clearly understanding how serious it is.
Yeah, I know. It's a little bit, how should I say, maybe the best way to describe it is just like approaching life with blinders on, or perhaps we somehow lose that ability to see the macro because we're so absorbed with the micro. But, when Asla, when you look out today and you're thinking about all the things that the Marmara Group is thinking about, what are some of these challenges that you see that we need to wrestle to the ground?
I mean, it's not only related to, of course, my group. I think it's currently all organizations, including governments, are thinking about. Definitely the uncertainty and big unknowns worldwide. And to do let's say, to do a business, future predictions are so important for all of us. We are in an era where it's getting harder and harder to make long-term plans, right?
Right.
So who knows how China's reopening and global economy will impact the market? Who knows? None of us can say anything about it. Or if Europe will be able to solve this Russia-Ukraine issue. or Europe economy is its own path where it will go. Yes, they performed maybe better than expected. But the fiscal stimulus is helping to reduce inflation and stabilize consumer spending. Going forward, we don't know if it's going to be possible to keep this performance sustainable in Europe. Coming to US, the US Congress must pass a bill to either to raise or suspend the debt of ceiling, right?
Hmm.
Failure to do this will mean that the Treasury cannot borrow any other than the rollover existing debt. This could mean that Treasury will not be able to have sufficient funds.
Hmm.
Maybe won't be able to pay the social security payments or especially interest and the existing debt. That is a risk. It's not that anyone believes the government, of course, won't be able to pay its debt, but this is an issue for the investors, right? In
Right.
US. So they will find this risky and they will try to place their assets into less risky places that they will find, which is something to be considered as well. So
There's a lot of topics there. And a couple of months ago, I interviewed Dr. Henke, who may have been a professor of yours. I don't know, when you were at Johns Hopkins, but he was echoing a lot of the concerns that you're highlighting today in terms of some of those issues that we need to go through.
he told me when I was studying there, you are a very good representative of Turkey.
That's wonderful. Well, let's change the gears a little bit here. And actually, I want to kind of talk about your interest in your growth as a business leader. What gives you joy in your work?
I find my work very creative. Uh, let me tell you this way. Imagine you try to foresee the future and you develop a project that will become reality in that future and you arrange funds accordingly, right? It's like having a dream and making it real afterwards. So it's like American dream. Everything was a thought one day and everything was a dream and you can do anything. So
Yeah.
then imagination in that sense is limitless. That's what keeps me exciting about what I am doing. And especially if the kind of project that I proposed turned out to be a successful one as I planned, that's the greatest joy I get. So I am kind of fascinated with the creative world of finance.
Yeah.
How many different variation of things you can do with it, and also the constantly changing, exciting nature of it. Right, every day
Yeah.
you a different world and then you have to refresh yourself so it keeps you active and alive. You have to follow, it's never a boring environment. On the other hand, that's my second excitement, personal excitement. I spend a lot of time with Gen Z. You know, I'm a Gen X person, uh, probably you are too. And from now on, I will be managing or working or doing projects with Gen Z. So it's not going to work like that. Okay, hello, welcome. So you adopt me. It's not going to work like that. We will need to adopt them. So in advance, maybe they'll be in the workforce in 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
In advance, I am in touch with especially my own school students in the colleges. I was it as visiting professor. I give classes. I design projects with them. I try to kind of mentor them, but I tell them, you be my mentor as well.
Yeah.
So mutual coaching, right? I
Yeah.
teach you. We have to find the mutual ground. I need to understand you, help me to understand you, and tell me, as a leader, as a mentor, uh, this is how can I say, motivating me, but this is not motivating me. This is like, you're like, so, how can I say, so unattractive here. I don't want to even listen to you. But when you do this, I want to listen to you. So this is giving me a lot of joy. So I have a lot of Gen Z friends. Actually, I spend a lot of time together.
That's wonderful. Well, I love that you're doing that type of mentoring. And really, I'd say it's more than mentoring what you've outlined there. It's establishing a new type of a relationship that will allow us to succeed going forward. It's a really wonderful discussion that I think many leaders need to be having, because it's not as simple as just saying, oh, well, here's a new generation and we need to understand them. It's how do we build an operation? How do we build companies? How do we build those creative dreams that you've been talking about in a way that works for everyone?
I will combine this with my 5-star project on ESG. Uh, Gen Z will save the future. I mean, Gen Z will save this world because they are so conscious. They like this crazy is spending habits are over with Gen X. They do not buy anything if it's not necessary. They are after kind of the things they can use, or they buy secondhand stuff, right?
Yeah.
So conscious. They will save the world. So I better adapt myself to that because I am this, okay, earn a lot and spend a lot kind of generation, turn it into, okay, like make your life smaller and then think more ESG compliant and make sure you have that I personally have a contribution to make this world a better place.
I love it. It's beautiful what you're saying. But let's talk about 2023. So here we are in a new year with a new set of challenges. And tell me a little bit about what your plan is for the near future for what you're working on.
As I mentioned a second ago, trying to manage all these uncertainties is a thing, but currently worldwide, it's out of control. So we have to learn to cooperate. We have to learn to ask help from others, from other corporations or whatever. I mean, so we should not be like, oh, okay, we are like this and we just do it this way. We should be agile and we should be very flexible. The time for, okay, make a plan and sit on it and look at it next year, it's over. Every day our priorities are changing. So we have to be so agile that we can adapt to changing priorities constantly. And we should measure our performance with the ability to adapt these changes, right? It's not easy, it's difficult because human nature wants consistency and some kind of, comfort zone and etc. We are completely out of comfort zone. So we have to accept that and we better take, we better enjoy that because that's how the world is going to be. That's one thing. And that's what I'm kind of making myself get used to. On the other hand, I mentioned the ESG compliance issues. Otherwise, we can't be in the business. So my next 3 years will be focusing on that together with our group. But my personal concerns as a woman, C-level woman executive, who has born in a developing country and who has been through a long path, come to this point, and who is working in a male-dominant environment and still staying strong. My passion is gender equality. So at work, you should have no gender, woman empowerment and ending poverty together with a very social causes.
Mhm.
All companies, like from now on, I'm telling you, will not just work for profit. They will also work to contribute to make this world a better place.
Yeah. And honestly, listening to you today talk about this stuff, Asla, I think that if there's a young person out there, this would be a great company to be part of. It's a wonderful, wonderful operation. Asla, where's the best place that you recommend for someone to learn more about the Marmara Group as well as what you're working on?
Well, actually, we have our, of course, websites, and on the other side we are very active in social media, and this year we will have more resources available because we are putting a lot of focus on brand awareness, and other than the hashtags related to Marmara, and when they look at the Marmara website, all the holding companies and related assets and facilities and services, and also the ownerships we have. They can get lots of information. Plus, our executives are giving, briefs and press releases about our strategies, etc. So they can always, and also we are very open. I mean,
Yeah.
anybody can write from LinkedIn. So I'm that open. Anybody can.
That's
Right.
amazing. I mean, I think, Asla, it's been amazing chatting to you today. I have to admit that I'm thinking about so many different things here coming to the end of this conversation. But one of them that really, really resonated with me today is this multi-generational operation that has to be rethought, reimagined to work. And certainly, I would say you are talking about a lot of the key things: sustainability, gender equality, diversity, equity, inclusion, really driving all of these key areas, and also making sure that we remember the true poverty that still exists in this world and how we rationalize and rectify these imbalances. Honestly, thank you so much for being on the Uncaged show today.
My pleasure, and thank you for providing this platform, because the wider audience we can reach, the more light we can, create in people's hearts. So we are not only doing business to earn money, we have to make sure this world is sustainable for next generations, right?
Asla, thank you so much for being on the Uncaged show, and we look forward to having you back.
You. That was great to see you again. Bye-bye.
Cheers.